Starting day 66 a little bit differently. I am in the car. I'm not at my house. I just parked in front of a bagel shop where the owner is the person who commissioned the ROM sketch. So I'm going to deliver that and get a free lunch. Talk to you soon. You okay back there? Come on up front. That's better. Now you're in the passenger seat. I'm back. I am outside my house now. Had a good lunch, a free lunch. I mean, granted I did work and got paid for it and this was part of the payment, but you know, free lunch. I also got a bagel to take back for Q, but also, interestingly enough, this sketch cover of Armor Wars with a monster and a robot. I know it's hard to see. You'll get a better look later. That I actually, oh, look at that. It's got his business card with my notes on it. This was from Silicon Valley Comic Con. This gentleman that I did the ROM cover for, I had done this for back then, and he, I guess, liked the ink work I did on ROM so much that he wants me to ink this one up. So we negotiated a price, and when I'm done, I will go give it to him, get paid, and get another free lunch. So yeah, work, getting work. Work begets work. Work.
That's right, sir. It's finally happening.
And I don't know what it is the last couple days. I've been having a hard time staying on track. Again, doing things, being productive, but just not what I plan on doing, what I want on doing. Look, ooh, ha 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 ha. Anyway, so it's like 3:30. I met with the guy, gave him his thing, got the new job. That's all great, but I haven't done anything art related or even housework related. I have been helping plan my friend's bachelor party all day today, responding to emails, trying to collect money from people. And that's been a big part of my day, actually. So it's like 3:30. I'm going to do my 30 minutes on the horror because, again, I hate it when that's the last thing at the end of the day. And then I'll try to get some work done on the standee. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I've done my work. I actually did about 45 minutes because I was a little bit on a roll and didn't want to stop. I did stop, though. I went back in and looked. As soon as I opened it, let me show you. This is where I was yesterday, and as soon as I saw this panel, I knew I had to work on it. I mean, I said this yesterday, but I reworked it a bit and turned it into this. I still don't love this, but it's much closer to the expression I was looking for, sort of like, wow, as opposed to actually being terrified, and I made them a little bit more on model. So that was a little bit of the time I spent, but most of the time was on this panel. Now, if you look at the rough, there's not a whole lot to it. Hold on, let me erase those. So basically, it's Boots and her uncle sitting in her uncle's apartment, and it's kind of a low ceiling. It's multiple floors. The first page was actually another part of this house. But it's supposed to be sort of a utilitarian military sort of thing. So first I put in the horizon line to make sure I could get these lines going here, because I did like the basic layout, and then I put this in and basically made a box. And this is kind of how I do indoor rooms a lot of times. They make the box, and then I put this, it's an air duct or something, but just, you know, to make it less super perfectly symmetrical. A little light switch there. And I made this extra big because it's not supposed to be a doorway with a door like a closet or to a bedroom, but I imagine that's like the kitchen or another living room. So it's a walkway as opposed to a doorway. Then I went ahead and put in these details, just extra pillars, and I imagine these are going to be track lighting, so I'll put some kind of lights in there. But again, just extra details. And then over here, I was going to make this a window, but then I think, I'm not sure if I want this to be a window or not. It's either going to be a window or a decoration, but either way, it's in perspective, it's there, and the details will decide what it is later. And there you have it, 45 minutes on the Horror A4, page 11. Issue 2. Issue 1, still available. Link below. Get it from Indy Planet, or Etsy, or me. Yeah, that's my commercial. Me! I wish I had a TV commercial, like, dun 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 dun, the Horror A4, now available from me. And they're like, oh, I was into it until I saw that weird turtleneck person. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I don't know what I'm doing now, but I'm gonna stop this. All right, I've done about 45 minutes on the horror standee. Not a lot, but it's dinner time. I gotta feed the cats and go put feed in me. So once again, this is going kind of agonizingly slow. I had started detailing up here, and I basically detailed this area down here and this in here. And I was struggling with, this was a sort of a sidewalk. Now this is a slightly abstracted city because I want it to sort of be a set piece that could fit and be a base, so it doesn't have to be super realistic, but I had a bit of a sidewalk going around it as a frame, and I put the vanishing point here. Again, it was mostly straight on, but there's a few, you know, little overhangs and edges just to give it a little bit of dimension. But the sidewalk doesn't want to be there, and I've been messing around with, can I put a different vanishing point? How do I do it? And I'm not loving it, but it is going to be covered up a lot, so I'm trying not to stress out about it too much. I might walk away from the sidewalk and worry about other stuff when I come back to it later. I'm outside now. It's not that late. 9, I think. Had dinner, did some dishes. Going for a walk. I laid on the floor for a while. Ate a whole large pizza, which is always delicious, but never good for then being able to sit at my desk and be productive. Today I feel is my least productive day I've had in a while. I'm trying not to beat myself up about it too much. I do have 2 more cover sketch commissions I need to do, not that I need to do today, and I definitely want to put some more work into the stand E. Wow, it is super dark. But I'm gonna take this walk. Hopefully that'll, you know, get some fat settling in in my stomach, make some pizza shift around, and so that I could sit for an extended period of time hunched over on that stomach, and therefore get some work done on the horror. But now I'm gonna plug this in, listen to a podcast, and walk through the night. All right, I'm back in the house. I don't think I'm quite ready to sit. I feel better, but I think first we're gonna lay on the floor. Yeah. Hi again, it's me still, and you. Well, you've changed. No, you're the same. Anyway, well, unless you want to be different. Have you been working on yourself? Then maybe you have. Well, at the very least, you're a tiny bit older than you used to be. So I have been working on the standee, frustratingly slow progress. I worked on it earlier today. I just put in about 2.5 hours, and I'll show you what we got going on. It's not enough. So today's primary objective is complete, was to finish the detailing on this background stuff. Now, some of the perspective is not as correct as I'd like it. I kind of made a mistake. I should have just done simple 1-point perspective, or maybe put, you know, a little bit of an up angle, but whatever. It's done. It's mostly correct. I think most people won't notice. And then here's the horror, blocking out those areas. That's why I didn't get too crazy. Now, there's going to be stuff in the street and other detail, but I'm not going to bother doing that because this foreground, this is the other thing. I had a foreground kind of sketched in, but it was completely wrong with the vanishing points I had been using. Again, these are not as perfect as I'd like, but they're much more passable, much more in the ballpark of correct. So I need to go in and ink them because that's just like really tight pencils. Still, there's other elements that are going to go in here. So, you know, basically it took me 2.5 hours to finish this up and get the tight pencils here. And then eventually what I'll have to do is get this stuff going, so you can see there's more elements here, and there's gonna be smoke and fire covering up a lot of stuff too. So that's why I'm not stressing too much about what's here right now, and also the perspective is not gonna matter as much once I get all the elements in. Look at these cats. They want their midnight food, and I'm gonna give it to them. What do we say? Good. It's about question and answer time. That's right. The segment I barely ever do. I would do more if there were more questions. Anyway, young Peter Palmiotti asked a question the other day. And Peter Palmiotti, I'm going to look over here. He says, what stories can you talk about regarding working with pets/cats around? Well, the only pets I have are cats, and the only pets I've had as an adult have been cats. So those are the only pets I can talk about. The other /pets will have to be for some other /artists. He was talking about having to lock cats out of his small little art room that his parents had given him. I think he's 8 or 9 years old now. He's getting good though. He's getting big fast. He's drinking a lot of milk. But anyway, he's worried about the cats knocking over ink pots. Now, I do traditionally ink from time to time, like I did on that ROM cover, but I haven't used dip ink in a decade. I learned to do it in school, Joe Kubert Art School, and that was pretty much, I won't say the very last time I used it, but I used it a few times afterwards, and I never liked it very much. I liked the pen nibs better than the brush, but once I found brush pens, Japanese brush pens, I never went back. And now that I do a lot of it digital, you know, I have respect for people that do it, but I never liked working with it. It was just, it's kind of like the same reason I don't like painting for the most part. It takes very long, it's sloppy, it takes a lot of patience, and I feel, at least for me, the quality of work I get is not significantly better for the extra effort I put in. That's not saying it's true of everybody, that's just for me. That wasn't the question, though. What about cats? Well, I recently told the story about Star Commander knocking over a lot of water, and that was the most relevant answer I had in terms of them being mischievous. We have 3 cats, 2 of whom basically lay around, don't bother us. The worst they'll do, you see Uzi come up, want to sit in my laps, lay on the keyboard, the traditional kind of stuff like that. Star Commander is younger, and she gets into a lot of trouble, but not about art supplies, not about biting my pens, not about knocking over ink, because as I said, I don't have it open. More, you see there's a lot of toys around here, and so often I will have to lock her out of the room, especially if I'm here and Q is not, because I'll be and I'll hear chink, 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 and I'll turn around and she just knocked something over, or she'll be up on top of a display shelf where she shouldn't be, or she'll be sitting here nice and calm and fine, and then all of a sudden she'll jump up here and start knocking my Ninja Turtles down, or take a big bite on a sword or something like that. So in terms of like my art day, the cats don't really bother me at all. I like having them around, but I do have to lock Star Commander out sometimes when I'm working, not because she messes up what I'm working on, but because she will take advantage of my distraction to destroy other things in the room. So that's answer time for questions with Gazbot. Hope you like that, little Peter Palmiotti. Here's something else. Yesterday in the mail, I got a package. Well, I get packages in the mail very often. I'm an important mail receiving person. It's very dark. And it's slightly whatever. I've adjusted light like an electrician. Where's that box? Over here. This box, I was gonna say it's from FetPack, which is a weird sounding name for a bag company. And it is a real bag company that I have used, but I used it more for caricature bags, and I haven't used it in a while. This is Ready Mat. Now, Ready Mat I found originally because I wanted small mat frames for my 8x8 Godzilla headshot prints that for some reason I couldn't find. I found some like glass metal frames that were kind of heavy and expensive, and I've tried to get out of having that kind of frame that shows. And I'm also getting out of doing mats, to be honest. For a while I was doing mats for everything, but not everybody wanted them, and it's just like a lot of extra heavy inventory to carry, and it just I didn't make a lot of money on them. It was more like customer service than anything. What I'm switching over to, actually, is top-loading hard cases. I bought a bunch of 11x17 ones. I brought them to the show. I don't know if I mentioned this, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. And what I did was I sold those for $5 extra if somebody wanted them, and they could hold more than one print if they wanted it. And I think I had 20, and it was the first show I really pushed them at, and I sold like 13. Now that's not like, oh man, gangbusters, but having 1 or 2 stacks of those is a lot easier than having matte frames or other frames, and it does the same sort of customer service, because again, I don't make that much money on it, maybe $1 or $2 at most, you know? So it's a little bit extra money, but it's more because people seem to enjoy them. And what I also did was, they're $5 to my customers, but if it's someone just looking to buy them, $10, because I'm not there as a vendor of them. And it's like one person asked, I'm like, oh, they're $10. And they're like, I thought they're $5. I'm like, if you buy my stuff, then yeah, they're $5. And they were like, oh, and they kind of wandered away. But you know, whatever. I mean, they're for my customers. So I'm angry at that person in the past that wasn't even mean to me, but just wandered away. But my point is, these are bags. This is about $100 worth of bags that I invested in after the San Francisco Comic-Con. And I actually invested a bunch of money. I bought the Copic ink, and I bought not just ink for my grays, but I got a couple new markers of blue and a few other ones that haven't come yet, as well as these bags and a few other things. I bought paper that I'm going to need for my prints, because I'm like, oh, I have all this extra money above and beyond the cost, more than I thought I was going to get. I'm going to immediately invest it back into art supplies and things like that. But these bags are from Ready Mat, as I said, and there are 2 sizes. They're 11x17 and 9x12, but they're not those sizes. They're slightly bigger so that they can hold prints of those sizes. And also when I do original sketches, typically I do 9x12 or half of that, so I put them in those bags too. They're clear, they're flat, they're self-sealing. They have these little, like, it's almost like Scotch tape on them, but you have to pull it off, so it's like zip, and then the adhesive is there, and you slide it in, and they're very professional, and they're very good. And despite saying I spent $100, this will last me a year. You know what I mean? They're pretty cheap. And that's it. I'm talking about Ready Mat. Oh, here's why I brought it up. Aside from the fact that it's relevant and topical because I got the box right now, that noise is the litter robot, by the way. Litter robot. Crunchy, good snacks if you don't mind eating. Anyway, why? If you're a dog, you might like these. That's sickeningly true. Dogs, I like dogs, but that's the worst thing about them, is that they eat cat poop. Not all of them. I realize I'm generalizing. I'm sorry, my canine friends. I don't mean to paint you with such a broad brush. So when I got the paper the other day at Kelly Paper, I once again got my reseller discount because I have the BOE number from California, which again, I don't know how it is in different states, but it's a free thing. You just sign up as a reseller, which I thought was a pain in the butt, and it is a pain in the butt, but it's free, but it's getting me this great discount on paper. It's like close to 50% off. I think it's 40, but you know, that's close to 50. And when I was ordering the Ready Mat from Ready Mat, these bags, again, they have other things too, so you might want to check it out if you need art supplies. They had a thing that says like reseller's number, and I was like, I wonder if my BOE number would work in here. And I put it in, got a discount. Now, it wasn't as good as Kelly Paper, but it was going to be like 110 or something like that, and it came out to like 99. So it got me $10 off. I guess it's like a 10% discount. But hey, that's a 10% discount for nothing. That's $10 for free. That's $10 for more toys or something, cereal, I don't know. But yeah, that's my advice to you. Use Ready Mat. Or don't use Ready Mat, but whatever you use, if there's a reseller number and you have some sort of reseller number, try to use it. Even if the verbiage doesn't quite add up, because that's the thing. Like it's what I had. It was like a tax ID number. Like whatever whatever they were asking for wasn't exactly the same name as what I have, but it was the same basic purpose, so it worked. Well, I guess I'll be signing off. I know it's weird that I'm not at my art desk drawing table computer station, but I'm going to sign off nonetheless because tomorrow I have a caricature job. It doesn't start till late, but it's a 4-hour one in Oakland, so it's a 4-hour job and then an hour-ish round trip. So it's my whole day, basically. It's 6 hours. Yeah, but it's money. It's a good... I'll try to see if I can take a video. I doubt it. I mean, maybe walking in, walking out, but it's always hard to get video when I'm there, unless it's really slow, which is no good for anybody because they're not getting their money's worth, and I'm bored. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll definitely mention the character job. And tomorrow's day 67, which means today's day 66. And, well, if today's day 66, you know what that means. Singing in the shower, about how many days we got left. We got 34 days left. I blew your mind. I was in there with clothing on. I'm dry. How can it happen? Well, it happens through the magic of having 34 days left. Can you still see me? Hi! Hey! Regardless, you phone!
Clearly not working, and then it fell in fire! And then I said...
And then what happened?
I said, clearly it hasn't been working on itself enough.
Good stuff. Hey, welcome to the question and answer section. Ha ha ha!